these three questions involve us dilating a pre-image with a center of 0, 0, so it's going to be right in the middle, and then all the scale factors are going to be different. So for this first example, we have a pre-image of triangle ABC, and the center is 0, 0, so I'm going to call out that center right in the middle there. And the first point that I'm going to dilate is point A, and as you can see, point A is 2 units from our center, and that's going to be going straight up. So we take that distance, which is, like I just said, 2, and we multiply it by our scale factor, which is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So our we could call it A prime. That point is going to be 6 above our center, okay? And like I said, that's going to be A prime. The next point I'm going to dilate is point B. And as you can see, to get to point B, we move to our left twice and then down twice. So to get to B prime, we're going to take our left movement and multiply it by a scale of 3. So instead of moving left 2, we're going to move to the left 6. And then we also went down 2, so the same thing happened. So we're going to go to our left a total of 6. So that's going to be here. And then down 6. That's going to be right there. And that's going to be B prime. And then lastly, we'll dilate point C. And as you can see, we went to the right once. And then we take that distance and multiply it by our scale factor, which is 3. That gives us 3. So then we're going to move to our right 3 times from our center to get C prime. And then we also had to move down once to get to C. So we're going to move down 1 times 3, that's going to be 3. So we also move down 3 times. So our C prime is going to be right here. Okay, mark that C prime. So it was nicer when we were dilating point A, or I should say easier, because all we did was move straight up, right? So then you could multiply that distance by the scale factor. So we did 2 times 3. But there's an extra step when we have to move horizontally and then vertically to get to a point, because we have to multiply both of those directions by our scale factor to get our new points. And then our last thing we're going to do is just connect all these points. And there is triangle A prime, B prime, and C prime. That's going to be similar to triangle A, B, and C, and it's our dilation with the center of 0, 0 and a factor of 3. This next example has us with a pre-image of rectangle ABCD, and we want to dilate with a scale factor of 3 over 2. So we don't have our points graphed, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So there's my rectangle ABCD, and the next thing I'm going to do is put down my center, which was 0, 0. Now we need to dilate it with that 0. So I'm sorry, dilate with that center. So I'm going to take my scale factor of 3 over 2, which is the same as 1.5, and because it's greater than 1, when we dilate it, we know that it's going to be an enlargement. So from our center to our pre-image, we're going to get our image, and it's going to be somewhere around here, okay? So let's start with dilating point C here, because it looks like we went up, or I'm sorry, we went down just once. So we take 1 and we multiply it by 1.5, and that's going to give us 1.5. So I'm going to graph C prime, and that means I'm just going to go past -1. It's going to be between -1 and -2 right there. So that's going to be our C prime. And then we could do point D. So from our center, we went down to D 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So that distance we multiply by 1.5. That's going to give us 6. So now we have to move from the center down 6. So that's going to put us right about here, and that's going to be D prime. Now we're on to point B and point A, and those are going to be a little bit harder because we're moving to the left and we're also moving down. So to get to B, we had to move to the left twice. So when we're moving to the left, that was 2 times, so we multiply that by 1.5. That gives us 3. So I'm going to move to the left 3 times, and then I'm also moving down to get to B 1 time. So that's going to be moving down times the scale factor of 1.5, which is just 1.5. So to get to B prime, I move to my left 3 times and then down 1.5. So there's B prime right there. Now here's a shortcut to get to A. We know that B prime, C prime, and D prime, along with A prime, which is what we're about to graph, those create a rectangle. So D has to go this way to make my rectangle, and then B prime here has to go down there to get to my rectangle. So they're going to intersect right at that point, and I could make my point called A prime. I want to erase this extra line, but there's going to be my rectangle, and I can connect this going across and then this going down. So there's my dilated rectangle. In this third example, we have a pre-image triangle ABC, and it's got a center of 0, 0 as well, and we want to dilate it. The first thing I want to do is plot all these points, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to also put in a 0, 0 here for the center. And now I'm going to do my dilation. So I'm going to start with point B here. And it looks like we move to our left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and then up twice. Okay, so that was, you could see that from our point. But when we move to our left 8 times, we're going to take 8, multiply it by our scale factor, which was 1/2, and that's going to give me 4. And I also moved up twice, so I multiply that by the scale factor of 1/2, and that gives me 1. So my new point, which would be B prime, is going to be left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up only 1. Okay, that's going to be B prime. Now here's the shortcut. Before, I would do the same thing to get A prime and then C prime, but remember that we're working with a scale factor, and we've got sides, and they're going to be in ratio to or in proportion with our sides of our image. So I could take my length of AB, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, the length of AB, and I can multiply that length by my scale factor, which is 1/2, and I'm going to get 4. So then from B prime, I know that A prime is going to be somewhere around here, and it's going to be a length of 4. So I move over 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to be A prime. Right? Remember, this side is going to be in proportion with this side. So if this side is 8, then A to B prime is going to be 4. Now to get the distance from A to C or B to C to get C prime down here, I would have to do the distance formula, but I could use the slopes to figure that out. So for example, I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then up 6, and I also went to the left 1, 2, 3, 4. So to the left 4 times. So I can multiply those movements by my scale factor. So 6 times 1/2 is 3, and then 4 times 1/2 is 2. So to get C prime from B, I'm going to move up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then over twice. And that's going to be C prime. So I could connect my points here to get my dilated triangle. And if you're thinking, wow, we did like a few different ways there, right? Is it correct? Well, you could always check this by running a point through A and A prime, and that line that you run through it has to go through the center. So if I took like a straight edge, it's hard to do on my computer, but if I do straight edge, I could go through like that, and then a straight edge through the B's. It's going to go through my center, and then I could take a straight edge and go through the C's. All those are going to go through my center right there. That's how you know that you did the correct dilation.